already covered that. So this is a draft site plan. You can see how the buildings would be configured. These are draft elevations. That's a typical floor plan. This is a photo of another project that this developer, property manager owns. I believe this is in Leavenworth or in that area. So the project is not permitted under the site's current C3 zoning, since apartments are not permitted on the ground floor in that zoning district. Rezoning to R3 or RP3 would be required for the project. A rezone to R3 or RP3 is not consistent with the development plan map, and so is really not consistent with the comprehensive plan. Keep in mind that the comprehensive plan, a new comprehensive plan is being drafted, or the process has begun to draft a new comprehensive plan, and at this time we don't know what the new comprehensive plan will say about land uses, especially in proximity to the interchange. One of the concerns might be with the rezone application is that you have C3 zoning, commercial zoning, there might be a desire on the part of the community to have ample commercial zoning for commercial uses, and this could be taking away from that. In any event, the basis for the recommendation is the fact that it requires rezoning and that the rezoning is not consistent with the comprehensive plan land use map. This shows you the development plan map and the current comprehensive plan with the property highlighted there, and there's a lot of red. That's close up. It's pretty blurry, but that shows you the red. The red is designated as commercial. There's a matrix or a table that's attached to the council action form that tells us how to interpret the land use map and list the zoning districts that are consistent with certain designations on the land use map, and R3, RP3 is not one of those listed under that commercial designation in the table. So staff's recommendation is to deny the request for the resolution of support. Be happy to take any questions or yeah.
Well, real quick, we have someone from Zimmerman here?
Yes.
Okay. At this time, I don't know if you've come prepared to make a statement. If you're here only to answer questions, what I would suggest is maybe you wait until after public comments. But if there's a statement that you would like to make on behalf of your project, this would probably be an appropriate time before public comments.
I would like to make a short statement, if I may.
Please come forward. State your name and address for the record, please.
My name is James McDonald. I'm a representative of Zimmerman Properties. We're based out of Springfield, Missouri. The office address is 1730 East Republic Road in Springfield, Missouri. Our company specializes in building affordable housing. I know there are affordable housing communities in the city of Gardner. The program's been around since 1986, and it's part of actually the Internal Revenue Code. It's what governs our communities. Our particular development company's been very successful in this. We've been operating in this program since the inception back in 1986-87, and currently our portfolio contains 82 communities, and we are located in 8 states. Of course, Missouri being the home. Of those 82 communities, 11 are in the state of Kansas, and we have 4 in the metro area of greater Kansas City. As Mike did mention, and I will compliment Mike, he's been very good to work with and very informative and explaining some new procedures that might be coming into effect as you go into your your development process and your code itself. He did mention the 72 units. Of those, 54 would be income and rent restricted underneath the program. 18 would be what we would call true market rate, or not income or rent restricted. Amenities to the community would include such as a swimming pool, playgrounds, outdoor barbecue, picnic areas, not to mention our units, as in most construction today, are very energy efficient. We go after all the energy points and guidelines, and actually, we certify most of our communities and build to the standard of what they classify bronze under the National Home Builders Association. I think they're about to change that name on that group before long also. But our units are we use programmable thermostats, energy rated utilities as far as air conditioning, heating. Part of the reason we chose Gardner, if I may, of course, is you're part of Johnson County's on the boom. And I think it's mentioned, it's very common knowledge. You can Google Gardner and look at all of what's going on in southwest Johnson County here. And the reason we kind of chose the area we did, number one, there are other multifamily zonings in that particular area. There is an existing community located in that area, and it is surrounded by what would be hopefully commercial or retail development in the near future. As we know, as businesses look to relocate to communities like yourself, they look at is there a place for our employees to work? Because most businesses, especially in some of the trades that I believe they're looking around the intermodal, and others bring all different pay scales to the community. So everyone who's making on the lower end of that deserves the same right as someone making on the upper end to live close to where they work. That's what our communities provide. Another factor that we looked at before the holidays and in the fall season was occupancy levels. And we have a third-party group, Integra Realty, that's performing that market study for you as we speak. And I spoke to her on Friday to kind of get a pulse. She wasn't complete because A, the holidays that we just came out of, and B, some of the weather they've entailed. They're based out of Oklahoma. But, she was able to tell me that most of the communities, whether they're affordable or market, are operating in the 90-plus occupancy percentage. There's a few that aren't. There's a few that are operating at 95. What that means to a developer like me is, A, your community's growing. B, there is a need as you expand for our type of properties. There was and there is some zone correct ground in Gardner, and we looked at that, and there were some infrastructure and development issues at this time we weren't ready to tackle. We chose this particular piece of property, A, because all the improvements and infrastructure is there and ready to go, and there was adjacent use. We knew going into this that I would be coming back to you, asking the council, going through the proper channels to rezone the property to allow us to do this. As the resolution, basically, the resolution support is needed for the application process for the financing we go after. And basically, it states that, A, in my terms, the community is aware of what our proposal is, that we've came and we've discussed and we've showed you our plan, and that you're aware of our intentions to place this financing. These resolutions are fully contingent upon, A, your building codes, your zoning codes, all of the other, your site plan development. Mike and I have talked about with your new development plan that could be going into effect, maybe it would be best if we came back as an RP3 in our zoning request to allow a little more input from the city, from the neighbors, on how we design this property. Tonight I'm here before you asking that, A, you don't deny the request, that you support it, to allow us to make the first step, and that is the application process. These tax credits are highly competitive and ever more competitive, and this would allow us to start the process. I typically don't come into a community, very rarely do I ever find ground that is zoned. Most states that we operate in require some form of official notification that, we've discussed this with staff and the governing body. So once we've done that, and if you would approve it, then we are fully aware that we will be back again in front of you to go through the zoning process, the development process, the building permit process. There's so many other things that come after this. So I would recommend, if council would consider, adding a paragraph down under Section 2, and this is my layman terms, or my simplest way to put this, is simply, make it contingent upon make it contingent upon Zimmerman Properties applying for and receiving successful zoning to allow that. You could go on further to add the building permit process, on down the line, the site plan approval process. That is just my suggestion. Again, we're fully aware, and by no means are we expecting that this would grant us free rein to develop this project. We're just here wanting to inform you first and foremost of what our intent is and how we're going to go about putting our